Kal-El hovers above a dying yellow sun and feels it shake. He hears a scream that is not a sound, a call from far beyond his universe, like a whole world begging for help. The sun twists, opens, and a white-hot tunnel of light and gravity yawns outward, trying to rip space in half. He knows if he dives in, he may never see home again, and the light that feeds him may change into something he does not know. He whispers, "No one dies if I can stop it," and flies into the breach as it snaps shut around him. He explodes into a new sky over the last city, a bright streak tearing the clouds apart. Below him, a great white orb hangs over the city like a broken moon. The traveler, cracked and scarred, but glowing. Around its pale light, the last city is on fire. Cabal drop pods scream in, metal coffins slamming into streets. Red armored soldiers spill out, guns blazing. People run in terror. Superman does not ask what world this is. He listens for the loudest cries. His eyes burn red. He cuts a falling Cabal ship in half with heat vision before it flattens a whole block. The wreck breaks in the sky and scatters flaming chunks into empty air instead of the crowds. Shards still fall. He dives, catching a burning wing, muscles straining, cape snapping, and hurls it into the bay beyond the wall. On the city walls, guardians watch. Titans in thick armor, warlocks in glowing robes, hunters with cloaks like torn flags. Their ghosts hover at their shoulders, white machines with a single eye of light. Vanguard Commander Zavala, a blue-skinned titan in the heavy plate, stares up. "Ikora," he says into comms, voice tight. "We have a new variable." Ikora Ray, Warlock Vanguard, watches from the tower's command deck. Screens show the red-marked ships, the Cabal tanks, the panicked civilians. One feed locks onto the caped figure shooting through the smoke. "He's not in any archive," she says, "and he's not using the light." Her ghost, Ophiuchus, hums in her ear. "But he shines like it." Superman hits the streets. Smoke burns his lungs. He hears a child coughing in a half-crushed house. He bends metal beams like twigs, lifts the roof, and sees a small family underneath. "Close your eyes," he says soft, like he spoke 1,000 times in Metropolis. He shields them with his cape as another Cabal shell hits the rubble. The blast throws him through 3 walls. The family lives. He feels that. It is enough. He flies back out, dust and concrete falling off him. Cabal legionaries turn their guns on him now. Heavy slugs spark against his chest. Some sting. He frowns at that. Their energy blasts slam him back a step. He pushes forward anyway. He grabs the cannon of a Cabal tank and rips it free, then crushes it in his hand so it cannot fire on the refugees behind him. On the tower wall, Zavala makes a choice. "All city fire teams," he calls. "We support the unknown. Keep him between the civilians and the Cabal. His vector is our vector." Guardians leap from the tower, bubbles of light catching them as they fall, rockets flaring on their backs. A blue dome of Titan void energy blooms on one street. Arc lightning whips down another. Ikora watches the energy readings spike. "He's not drawing from the traveler," she says. "He's drawing from the star." She zooms in on his face as he pushes a Cabal dropship back into the sky with his bare hands, boots digging scars in the concrete. His eyes shine with stored sunlight. His jaw is clenched in a way that says he has done this before. "But that much power in the middle of the city is a risk," she adds. The Cabal assault shifts as they notice the resistance stiffen. A Red Legion commander, a massive centurion, marks Superman's position. "New threat," it growls in its guttural tongue. "Focus fire." A wall of missiles streaks in. Superman hears the launchers lock, The timers tick, the target systems chirp. He does the math in a moment and knows, if they hit, whole blocks die. He flies straight up into the clouds, faster than sound, punches through the swarm of missiles, grabs as many as he can, and shoves them upward toward the thin air. The rest chase him. He lets them come close, then twists his body and drives them all out over the ocean beyond the city wall. His heat vision flashes. The sky blossoms with silent light. Shockwaves hit a heartbeat later and slap the water flat. Codex note: unknown paracausal asset displays solar-derived power that mimics but does not match Guardian light. The strain hits him after. Up here, the sky is thin, and the sun of this world feels wrong. Its light feeds him, but not fully. He feels a drag in his bones, a slow pull, as if the traveler below is stealing some of the star's gift. He files that away. He has no time to rest. More screams pull him back down. He drops into a street where Cabal soldiers have pinned a squad of Guardians. A Titan's barrier is cracking under repeated hits. A hunter lies down, ghost shattered beside him. A warlock tries to pull void energy into a grenade, but her hands shake. Superman lands between them and the Cabal, the ground cracking under his boots. Bullets slam into his back. He does not move. He looks over his shoulder at the warlock. "Get your people clear," he says. "I'll hold them." She stares. "You're not in the roster," she answers. "Who are you?" "Call me Superman," he says. It is simple. It has always been enough. He steps toward the Cabal line. The legionaries fire in panic now. He moves faster than they can track. One by one, he strips them of their guns, crushes the weapons, and tosses the soldiers flat so they cannot get up. He does not break bones unless he has to. He knows he could kill them all in a moment. He chooses not to. From above, Zavala watches the red wedges of Cabal troops buckle wherever the cape moves. "This is an opportunity," he says. He fights for the city. Ikora folds her arms. "Or he fights for his own code," she replies. "We do not know his price or his limit. The traveler has no mark on him. That makes him a crack in the pattern." The first wave breaks. Cabal ships pull back. Drop pods stop falling. The fires in the streets die down as Guardians push them. The city is hurt, but it stands. People come out from shelters and basements. Children point up at the figure hovering over the main plaza, cape rippling in the hot wind. For a moment, hope feels simple and solid. Then the sky grows dark. Zavala looks up as a huge shadow passes over the traveler. Not a cloud, a shape. A sharp-edged black triangle hanging in the sky. A pyramid ship of the Black Fleet. Darkness pours off it like smoke that eats light. Below it, Cabal units receive new orders. They stop firing and begin to fall back to secured points, forming tight ranks. The assault was not an invasion. It was a test. Ikora's throat tightens. "The witness is watching," she whispers. "They used the Cabal as bait. They wanted to see the traveler's new toy." Superman feels it too. A cold pressure on his mind, like fingers pressing on glass. Something on that ship sees him, studies him. His powers, his choices, the way he shields the weak first. It tastes his light and his borrowed sun. He feels suddenly small and very far from home. Commander Zavala opens a channel on all tower frequencies. "All forces converge on the inner city," he orders. "We fortify around the traveler. The Black Fleet will not take this world. Unknown ally, if you can hear me, you are requested at the tower. We need to talk." Superman hears the signal in the static of every radio. He looks down at the broken streets, the people still being pulled from rubble, the Guardians reviving their fallen with tiny flares of light. He looks up at the pyramid. The choice is clear. He flies toward the tower, but not at full speed. He stays low, letting the people see him in the open sky. They need that. Maybe he does too. They meet him on the main firing line of the tower. Zavala stands at the center, big as a statue, blue skin and white eyes, hard but not cruel. Ikora Ray is at his side, calm in a long robe, hands clasped behind her back. Cade 6, the Exo-Hunter Vanguard, leans on the rail nearby, a metal face with glowing eyes and a lazy stance that hides focus. Other Guardians line the wall, weapons across their chests, ghosts floating like nervous birds. Superman lands in front of them, boots touching the tower's stone. He looks at the traveler, then at them. The cracks and scars on the great sphere bother him. Someone hurt this thing that feels like a star. "You called," he says. Zavala steps forward. "Commander Zavala," he says. "Titan Vanguard. This is Ikora, Warlock Vanguard. Cade, Hunter Vanguard. You are..." "Superman. That's what people call me," Superman answers. He stands straight, but not aggressive. "I protect people. That is my rule. You're not a Guardian," Ikora says. Her eyes scan his aura, the way light bends around him. "You have no ghost, no class. Your power feels like the sun, but not the traveler's light. How did you get here?" He looks up at the strange sky, then back at her. "My world star opened," he says simply. "There was a call for help. I went through. Now I am here, and you have a problem." He nods at the pyramid. Cade chuckles softly. "Lady, he's got the Titan mindset and the Warlock weirdness, all in one. I kind of like him." Zavala does not smile. "This world is under siege by the Witness," he says. "The one behind the Black Fleet. Those triangle ships. They are the enemies of the Traveler and of all who live under its light. You arrived when the Cabal were testing our defenses. The Witness saw you." Ikora tilts her head. "We do not let unknown paracausal forces roam free in the city," she says. "We have been burned too many times. We need to understand you, your limits, your motives." Superman meets her gaze. "I told you my motive," he says. "I save lives, no matter whose. As for limits, I am learning them too. Your sun feeds me. That big sphere might be stealing some of it. And that ship up there." He shivers, just a little. It feels like it can take it away. Ikora notes that shiver. She files it like a scholar collecting data. "Then we must act before it does," she says. An alarm sounds, sharp and urgent. Tower sensors flare. On the outer feeds, swarms of small black craft pour out of the pyramid, like shards of night-given shape. Phalanxes of tormentors and Shadow Legion Cabal, touched by darkness, drop toward the city in silent waves. Null zones of slithering dark appear on the streets, places where Guardian abilities flicker. Zavala snaps to command. "All fire teams to defensive positions," he roars. "The Black Fleet commits. This is not a test, it's an incursion. We hold the city, or we lose everything." He looks at Superman. "You want to save lives? This is your chance. But you take my orders while you're in my sky." Superman nods. "Fine," he says. "You know this battlefield. Tell me where to hit." "Primary vector is the east wall," Zavala says. "The Shadow Legion will try to breach there. If they break through, the inner city burns. Ikora, coordinate supers across the lines. Cade, keep eyes on any flanking moves. Superman," he holds his gaze, "you are our spear, but you are not a god here. Remember that." Superman hears the last part like a warning and like a kindness. He accepts both. "Then let's move," he says. They do. The next hour is fast and brutal. Superman streaks along the east wall, punching through dropships before they can unload their full cargo. Guardians use him as a moving shield and battering ram, sliding into cover behind his back while he takes Tormentor scythe strikes on his chest. Each hit feels like ice, cutting through bone. His skin does not break, but the cold darkness in the blows eats at his strength. On one street, a Tormentor wraps tendrils of black around his arms, trying to pin him. Superman grits his teeth and pulls. The tendrils resist like tar and chains. He hears Guardians shouting, guns clattering to the ground as their light gutters in the null field. He cannot let this stand. He draws deep from the sun above and burns the tendrils away with a burst of heat vision so bright it carves glowing lines in the pavement. Ikora watches from a command screen. He's using an external source, she notes. Every time he pulls that hard, the traveler's light flares, then folds away, as if it's adjusting to him. Is that a problem? Cade asks, as he snipes a Shadow Legion commander from the tower rail. Everything is a problem until we understand it, Ikora answers. Superman hears more cries near the market district. Shadow Legion cabal, wreathed in strands of darkness, have cut off an evacuation route. Civilians crouch behind burning stalls. A Guardian lies down, Ghost trying to revive him, but stuttering in the dark field. Superman slams into the street like a meteor, cracking the ground and sending Cabal flying. He picks up a fallen market sign as tall as a tank and uses it as a shield, pushing forward under heavy fire. Bullets and dark bolts hammer the sign. He gets close enough to grab the nearest Shadow Legion soldier and toss him into two others. He notices their armor drinks light, turning bright shots dim. They were made for this city, for these enemies. Get them out of here, he shouts to the half-conscious Guardian. I'll hold the line. The Guardian coughs but nods. You fight like a titan, she says, dragging civilians toward a side alley as her ghost flickers along. The line holds. The east wall does not fall. The city bleeds but does not break. Finally, the pyramid seems to pause. Its small craft pull back. The null fields shrink. The Black Fleet has what it came for. Data, not territory. Zavala calls ceasefire. Sirens drop to a low, warning hum. Smoke curls off the broken towers of the city. The Traveler hangs above, impassive and bright. Superman floats in the air, chest heaving. For the first time in a long time, he feels something like real fatigue. This place is not his. The rules are not his. Up to now, a stranger from another universe has crashed into a war he does not understand, saved a city he just met, and drawn the eye of a god of darkness. They gather in the Vanguard war room deep in the tower, a round chamber with holographic maps and a wide view of the Traveler overhead. Superman stands opposite the Vanguard at the main table. He has changed nothing about his suit. The bright S on his chest feels like a promise he owes, even here. Zavala's armor is still scorched. Ikora has dried blood on her sleeve she has not noticed yet. Cade's cloak smells faintly of ash and oil. First, the obvious, Zavala says. You saved lives today. Without you, the East Wall would have fallen. The Black Fleet would have taken ground in the city itself. He meets Superman's eyes. For that, you have my thanks. And the cities. Superman nods. That's why I'm here, he says. But the attack stopped. They pulled back. That means they are planning something worse. Ikora taps the table. A hologram of the pyramid ship appears. The witness rarely acts without layers, she says. Today it tested two things. Our changed alliances with the Cabal. And you. She flicks her fingers. Data feeds appear. Energy patterns around Superman's fights. Spikes in light and darkness fields. Your presence creates new equations, new risks. Cade raises a hand. I love equations that end with city not destroyed, he says. Personally, I vote we keep him. He points at Superman with a finger gun. You're hired. No pay. Terrible hours. Great view. This is not a joke, Ikora says, sharp. Cade's tone softens, just a bit. I know, he answers. But we both saw what he did out there. You saw the kids looking up at him. We haven't had a symbol like that since, well, since the Red War ended. Maybe ever. Zavala looks at Superman. Symbols can be dangerous, he says. They provoke fear. They draw fire. The Traveler itself is a target because of what it is, not what it does. You are another. Superman thinks of Metropolis, of the people who loved him and the ones who feared him. Governments that wanted to lock him away or use him like a weapon. Where I come from, he says, I have been both hope and a problem. I have faced people who wanted to leash me. I will not let anyone here do that either, but I am willing to listen. I am willing to work with you. Ikora leans forward. Our rules are simple but hard, she says. Guardians fight for the city, for humanity, for our allies. We use the light given by the Traveler. We follow the Vanguard's command. We take oaths. We follow doctrine. Because power without limits breaks worlds. Does your rule fit inside ours? My rule is simple too, Superman replies. No one dies if I can stop it. That includes your people, your allies, and yes, even your enemies when they surrender or when killing them breaks something important. I will follow your tactics. I will not follow orders that make me break that rule. Zavala's jaw tightens. We are at war with a being that wants to rewrite all existence, he says. The Witness does not surrender. Its disciples do not surrender. The Hive worship death. The Cabal, even when allied, have leaders who killed entire planets. We do not have the luxury of perfect mercy. So you kill prisoners? Superman asks, calm but firm. No, Zavala says at once. We are soldiers, not butchers. But we make hard calls. We will trade a world for a solar system, a city for a species, a squad for the line. The Witness forces those choices on us. Ikora nods. Sometimes we hesitate and lose thousands, she adds. Sometimes we act and lose something inside ourselves instead. We live with both. Superman looks from one to the other. Where I come from, I have stopped armies and gods, he says. I have lost people. I have failed. But I have never decided that some lives are worth less just because they are in the wrong place. If we start there, we become what we are fighting. Cade whistles low. Well, he says, we got ourselves a real debate now. The war room air tightens. Guardians at the edges of the room glance between the Vanguard and the alien hero. Some nod at Superman's words. Others look uneasy. They have all watched worlds fall. They have buried friends. Mercy feels like a luxury item on a burning ship. Ikora does not look away. Your heart is strong, she says, but this universe is not your comic book city. The darkness does not care about your line in the sand. It will walk through it with a pyramid and a smile. Superman's eyes harden. Then I will stand in front of it, he says. You can fire over my shoulder. Zavala steps between them with a raised hand. Enough, he says. This is not a philosophy seminar. The Witness is moving. The Cabal are restless. The Elixni watch and wait. We must decide how to use this new asset before the enemy does. A chime cuts through the tension. A hologram of Empress Kayatl, leader of the Cabal, appears on the table. A huge, horned figure in heavy armor, eyes burning with pride and battle hunger. Vanguard, she rumbles. You have a new champion. The Black Fleet has noticed. So have I. Zavala straightens. Empress Kayatl, he says. This channel is secure. What do you want? I want to speak of alliance and of fear, Kayatl says. The Shadow Legion is not mine. They bend the knee to the Witness, not the Cabal Empire. But their war beasts were Cabal once. Their armor is Cabal. When your new Sunman tears through them, their deaths stain my honor as much as your walls. She looks at Superman. You are not of this system. You have not bled with my soldiers. Why should I accept you in this theater? Superman steps forward, folding his arms. I didn't ask your permission, he says. I saw people in danger. I acted. That's what I do. Kayatl bares her teeth, more amused than angry. Bold, she says. I like that. But wars are not won by lone heroes, no matter how bright their capes. We plan. We sacrifice. We trade lives to win larger futures. Can you stomach that? There it is again, Superman says. Trade lives. You all speak about lives like they are chips on a table. They are not. You speak like someone who has not seen a planet break, Kayatl replies. I have. I did not have the luxury of saving everyone. I had only the choice of who would live to fight another day. The room shifts around this argument. It is the core of the clash. Mercy versus survival. Ideal versus grim math. No one here is stupid. No one here is evil. They are all telling the truth from where they stand. Before Zavala can answer, alarms scream again. Ikora's ghost flashes a warning. We have a new signal, she says. Not from the pyramid. From deeper. The holograms twist. A fresh image appears. Not a ship, but a structure forming in near orbit. A black ring of hooked metal and obsidian light, knitting itself together around a tight knot of darkness. Lines of power run from the pyramid to the ring, and from the ring down toward the traveler. What is that? Cade says. Ikora's eyes widen. An anchor, she whispers. A cage for light. They are building it around the traveler. If they finish, they can crush its power. Maybe even drag it out of orbit. Zavala's voice drops to command mode at once. Targets. Generator clusters at 3 points around the ring, Ikora says. Heavily shielded. Standard Guardian fire teams cannot reach them in time. We would need something faster, stronger, something that does not rely on the light. Slowly, all eyes turn to Superman. He looks at the ring, at the traveler, at the city below, at the people who argued with him and fought beside him. His path is clear again. Tell me where to hit, he says. Ikora brings up a schematic. 3 nodes, she explains. Each one projects part of the cage field. Destroy all 3, the ring collapses. Destroy only 1 or 2, and the field will try to compensate. It may lash out. Against the traveler, against the city, against you. Good, Superman says. Then I'll destroy them all. Zavala nods once. This is your mission, he said. We will support from the ground. Keep Cabal and Shadow Legion off your back. But listen carefully. His eyes bore into Superman's. If the field lashes toward the city, you take the hit, no matter what it costs you. Superman does not hesitate. Agreed, he says. Ikora looks at him with a mix of awe and concern. You are not infinite, she says. You have already taken damage from Tormentor strikes. Darkness is eating at your reserves. If you overextend, you could fall. And if the Witness understands your weaknesses, it will not stop. It will press. Better me than your people, Superman answers. Kayatl's hologram leans in. Then fly, Sunman, she says. Prove that your mercy and your math can stand in the same sky. He turns, steps to the edge of the large viewing window, and launches himself into space. The anchor ring hangs above the traveler like a jagged halo. As he rises, he feels the light and darkness fields twist around him. His body drinks in what it can from the sun. The rest is stolen by the traveler's complex field, bent and filtered. The closer he gets to the ring, the more he feels another force, a T-jet pull that is not gravity but intent, trying to pry his cells open like a book. The first node is a cluster of black spires stabbing outward, each crackling with red and violet energy. Shadow Legion Cabal in dark armor stand guard on small platforms, their boots magnetized to the metal. Floating shards of darkness drift between them like watchful eyes. Superman slams into the node at full speed. Metal screams. The spires snap like twigs under a hammer. Cabal scatter. He rips out the central crystal core and hurls it into space. It explodes in a silent bloom of dark light. Back on the tower, instruments surge. First node down, Ikora reports. Cage field weakening but adjusting. The witness sees the change. Its will ripples through the pyramid, through the anchor. The remaining nodes begin to draw harder on the darkness, pulling more power. Lines of black fire snake out, trying to wrap the traveler, trying to reach Superman as he pushes toward the second node. He feels the first touch. It burns inside, not outside. His muscles feel heavy. His lungs labor. The sun feels farther away. He grits his teeth and keeps going. Power scaling interlude I. In the war room, Ikora explains as readings scroll past. His cells store solar energy, she says. Think of them as millions of tiny batteries. In his own universe, they fill faster than he can use them. Her fingers dance through projections, highlighting the black strands from the anchor. The darkness field around the anchor does the opposite. It drains him. It is anti-solar. Every time he uses his strength or speed near those nodes, the field pulls more power from his cells. If he keeps fighting at full force inside that ring, he will not only tire, he will run dry. Zavala folds his arms. So the witness has found a way to turn his greatest strength into a weakness, he says. Cade looks pale. If that field hits the city, it could do the same to the traveler, Ikora finishes, and to every guardian linked to it. Superman reaches the second node. This time, the Shadow Legion is ready. Tormentors hang in the dark like hooked statues, their scythes dripping shadow. As he approaches, they open their arms. A wave of null energy slams into him. His flight stutters. He drops a few meters before he can correct. The black field claws at his cells, trying to pull the stored light out of him. He roars and pushes through, grabbing a tormentor by the throat and hurling it into a cluster of spires. The impact shatters them, but the effort costs him. His vision dims at the edges. The cold in his veins grows. He tears the core free again, but this time when he throws it, his arm feels like lead. Back on the ground, Guardians feel a chill. Their ghosts flicker. For a moment, every light in the tower dims, as if the whole system took a breath in. Ikora grips the edge of the table. He's pushing too hard, she says. At this rate, he will not reach the third node. Zavala closes his eyes for a second, then opens them with steel. We cannot pull him out, he says. If that cage closes, the traveler falls. The city dies. All worlds under its light will suffer. He knows that. He chose this path. Ikora looks at him, eyes dark. And if he dies up there, what then? Then he dies, Zavala says, the words heavy, and we fight on without him. The third node waits like a mouth of black teeth, the darkness field around it pulsing. Somewhere inside that field, a new mind stirs. Not the witness itself, but something close to it. A disciple. An enemy made not just to protect the anchor, but to test and hurt the alien hero who dared to fly into the witness's game. Superman feels that mind brush his own. It is cold and curious, like a scientist with a knife. It whispers images, worlds broken, heroes taken, light turned inside out. It offers him a simple idea. You cannot save everyone, but I can end their pain. Just let go. He snarls, shakes the thought away, and dives toward the last node, knowing the real battle has only just begun. The mind presses harder as he dives. It shows him a street in the last city, the market where he fought before. In the vision, he is late by 1 second. A tormentor's scythe falls. A child falls with it. The mind holds that image in front of him like a knife. You cannot be everywhere, it whispers inside his head. But I can end their fear. I can end all choices. Let me. He snarls and pushes deeper into the dark field. Get out of my head, he says. On the tower, alarms spike again. Ikora pulls up a new feed, a shape forming at the third node. A tall figure of bone-white armor and black glass, holding a staff made of frozen shadow. Its face is a smooth, featureless mask, carved with a single, staring eye. Darkness coils around it like smoke that forgot how to be air. Zavala grips the table. We have a disciple, he says, named antagonist on field. This is not just a guardian. Ikora's ghost runs fast checks. Designation unknown, Ophiuchus says. Signal is similar to Rulk, Nezarek. This one is tuned to solar patterns. It is built to unmake our new ally. Tactical briefing, Ikora says, focusing. Everyone listen. The anchor is not just a cage. It is a test ground. The witness placed a disciple at the final node that matches Superman's energy profile. That star focuses anti-solar darkness. Standard Guardian supers will fail in its field. Our light will stutter. Our weapons will misfire. He is the only one who can fight at full power in there. And every time he does, Kate says quietly, it drains him faster. Ikora nods. Standard counters fail because the field eats light and sun both, she finishes. Bullets and rockets will be bent away. Void, arc, solar, stasis, strand. All reduced. Only a direct contest of will and raw solar mass can break that node. Zavala's gaze does not leave the screen. Then that is what he will give, he says. Or die trying. Superman reaches the third node. The disciple floats above the black metal like a dark priest over an altar. Kal-El, it says without moving its mask. The voice is inside his head and outside it at the same time. Last son of a dead sun. You burn bright. I was made to savor you. Superman stops, hovering a short distance away. The darkness field swirls between them, thick and heavy. Each breath feels like breathing syrup. You know my name, he says. Then you know what I stand for. Get away from that node. The disciple tilts its head. The single eye on its mask narrows. Names are easy, it says. You are mercy wrapped in muscle. You are a promise that does not fit the world. I am Nephril, Sun Eater, disciple of the Witness. I am here to teach you the truth. Black chains of light snap from the staff and lash around Superman's arms and chest. They do not feel like metal. They feel like night with fingers. Where they touch his suit, the bright colors dim. Where they touch his skin, heat drains away. He tries to wrench free. The chains hold. The darkness field pulls at his cells. He feels flames inside him wink out one by one. Panic flares. He buries it. I've heard this speech before, he says. Someone always thinks they know the truth better than the people who suffer under it. Nephril drifts closer. Its eye swallows his reflection. Here is truth, it says. You cannot save them all. You will watch them die because you refuse to end the game. The Witness will end it. No war, no hunger, no choice, only quiet. Let us empty you, and we will empty them. No one will feel fear again. It pulls hard on the chains. Darkness rushes into him. His body jolts. For a moment, He cannot see the city, the traveler, anything. Only a black ocean and the echo of screams fading into silence. It is terrible and peaceful at once. It would be so easy to stop fighting. Down below, Ikora sees his energy signature dip. He's flatlining, she breathes. His solar output just crashed. Zavala's hand slams the table. Kal-El, he shouts, as if the name could reach space. Remember why you came. Remember your rule. Superman hangs on that rule like a rope. No one dies if I can stop it. He hears Lois's voice, his mother's voice. 1,000 people he has pulled from rubble. He sees Metropolis. He sees the last city now, children on tower roofs looking up. If he gives in, they don't suffer. But they also don't live. He growls and pulls back against the chains. You're not ending fear, he tells Nephril. You're ending life. That's not mercy. That's murder with slow words. He sucks what little sunlight he can from the star beyond this system's sky. It trickles in, thin but real. He focuses it into one point in his chest and lets it explode outward. Heat and light slam from him in a tight sphere. The black, chains burn, snap, fall away as ash. Nephril hisses, first in anger, then in delight. Good, it says. Struggle. It lunges. They collide in the heart of the darkness field. The fight is short on distance, but long on pain. Nephril's staff spins and strikes. Every touch sends a spear of coal through Superman's ribs, stomach, spine. He blocks with his arms, his shoulders, his chest, but he cannot dodge them all. Where the staff lands a clean blow, his skin goes pale, almost translucent, and a dark frost crawls under it. He punches back. Each hit that lands on Nephril's armor sends cracks through the black glass. Bright threads of stolen light leak out. But every punch costs him more energy. His movements slow. His breaths come in short, harsh bursts. Nephril laughs inside his head. Look at you, it says. You could have been a god. Instead, you are a battery being drained for a city that will fall anyway. Why not let me reshape you? Keep your mercy. Keep your love. Use them my way. What way is that? Superman grunts, driving Nephril back with a double-fisted blow that dents its chest plate. Nephril opens its arms. Images pour into his mind. The last city quiet, no guns, no walls. The traveler still, not hunted. People living simple lives under a sky of fixed stars. No cabal, no hive, no black fleet. We will take choice, it says. We will take conflict. We will make a sharp, clean world. No failure. You will never have to hear another scream and wonder if you could have been faster. Come under the witness. I will teach you to cut mercy at the root. For a second he wants it. He wants it so badly it hurts. No more second guessing. No more crying in the dark. Just one hard rule that makes all the pain stop. He thinks of a boy in Metropolis who once asked, "If you're so strong, why do bad things still happen?" He gave an answer then. It was not perfect, but it was true. "Because I'm not a god," he had said. "I'm just a man trying to help. We choose to be good even when it's hard." If you take choice away, he tells Nephril now, you take goodness away too. You take courage. You take growth. You don't protect people. You cage them. Nephril's eye narrows. Then die with your cage open, it says. It drives the staff straight through his chest. There is no blood. The staff does not pierce his skin. It pierces his light. A spike of darkness slams into the center of who he is, where his cells hold the sun. For one blinding second, he feels every power he has ever used flicker. Flying Lois from a falling helicopter, holding a bridge, standing against doomsday. All of it stutters as if someone hit pause. Then the spike twists. He screams. The sound does not carry in space, but the city below hears something, a pressure in the ears, a tremor in the traveler's light. Guardians look up, startled. Ghosts shiver. On the tower, Ikora clutches her chest, as if the wound is in her. It punctured his core, she says. Not his body, his storage field. There is a scar now, a place where the sun cannot sit. Zavala's voice is rough. Can he survive it? Maybe, Ikora says, but he will never be the same. He will never be fully full again. The darkness has a nail in him. Superman grabs the staff with both hands. His fingers burn where they touch it. He cannot pull it out. Nephril leans close. There, it whispers. Now you know what your mercy costs. You die here. The cage closes. The traveler falls. Your rule breaks and no one remembers it. Something moves behind Nephril. The traveler flares. For the first time since he arrived, Superman sees it change. Light pours from its cracks, not wild but focused. It does not strike Nephril. It does not shield Superman. It sends a single, narrow beam of pure white straight through the anchor field and into his eyes. Time stops. He stands in a field of pale grass under a white sky. The last city is far below, tiny and fragile. Nephril and the anchor ring are gone. Only the traveler hangs above him, huge and close, filling half the sky. Its surface is cracked and pitted, but light flows through it like slow breath. A voice speaks, not in words but in feelings. He understands them anyway. You heard a call. You came. You bleed. He answers in his own thoughts. I had to, he says. They needed help. You were not called, the feeling says. You inserted yourself into a war written before you existed. Your rule bends the pattern. He looks up at the enormous sphere. Do you want me to leave? He asks. Is that it? Am I making things worse? A slow spread of warmth answers. Not quite no. Not quite yes. More like, you are a stone thrown in a river. You change the flow. The witness noticed. It sharpens its knives. Lives were saved because you came. Other lives will be at risk because you stay. That's true anywhere, he says quietly. Every choice saves someone and hurts someone else. I just try to make sure more live than die. He feels a touch of approval, faint but real, and something else, a test. The traveler does not show him three paths, not yet. It shows him one thing, the staff in his chest, the nail of darkness. It shows him pulling it deeper, letting it stay, learning to live with the wound. It shows him pushing it out and burning the scar closed, at a cost. Either way, it says without saying, you will carry this. You cannot go back to who you were. He nods. So be it, he says. Just tell me how to save them. The field of grass fades. The cold rushes back. He is in space again. The staff is still in his chest. Nephril is still leaning close, gloating. All your light, and still you die, it says. But something is different now. The traveler's beam is still in his eyes, thin and sharp. It runs down his nerves into his heart, then out along the staff into the core of the anchor node. For a moment, he is the wire between sun, traveler, and darkness. Pain becomes white noise. Under it, there is a choice. He grips the staff and pulls it deeper. Nephril freezes, surprised. What are you? He uses the staff as a conduit, uses the wound as a door. He drags light and sun and darkness all together into that single point and lets them collide. The node screams, black spires crack, shatter, implode. The cage field flickers. Lines of dark energy jerk wild, lashing out in all directions. One bolt slams toward the traveler, another arcs toward the pyramid, a third dives toward the city. He cannot stop them all. He chooses. He throws himself in front of the bolt, heading for the city. It hits him like the fist of a dead god. Light and darkness tear through him. For a second, he is not a man. He is a pattern. He sees himself stretched between universes, between choices he did not make. In one, he never entered the breach. The last city burns. In another, he joins the witness and becomes its blade. In a third, he dies here and is remembered as a brief, bright hope. He falls. On the tower, the screens go white, then black. Ikora shouts something. Cade curses. Zavala stands very still. In space, the anchor ring explodes. Sections of the black halo break apart, spinning away. The cage field collapses. The bolt that was reaching for the traveler fizzles. The bolt that had gone toward the pyramid snaps back, punching into its hull. The pyramid howls in silent rage as plates of its surface split and drift away. Nephril staggers, armor cracked, mask eye flickering. You chose them, it rasps. Again. Superman floats, limp, suit scorched. The staff is gone, but a black scar remains over his chest, just off-center of the S. It throbs with each slow heartbeat. His skin is pale. His aura is dim. He looks more human than he has in years. With the last of his strength, he draws one breath and fires a thin line of heat vision at Nephril's cracked chest. It is not much. It is enough to punch through the weakened armor and into whatever serves as the disciple's heart. Nephril convulses. Darkness spills out of its wounds, not as smoke, but as tiny fragments of screaming light falling away into nothing. The witness will study you, it whispers as it crumbles. You are a flaw in its story. Then it is gone. Superman passes out and begins to fall toward the atmosphere. Codex note. The disciple's staff left a semi-permanent null scar in Kal-El's solar reservoir, limiting maximum charge and creating a stable darkness vector inside him. He wakes in pain and light. The ceiling above him is the Tower Med Bay, white panels with hairline cracks. Machines beep softly. He turns his head very slowly and sees glass walls, cots, guardians on beds with bandages and glowing scars. Ghosts drift from patient to patient, checking vitals. Ikora sits beside his bed, robe dusty, eyes ringed with exhaustion. Zavala stands at the foot of the bed, arms folded, more statue than man. Cade leans against a wall, helmet under one arm. His metal face has a new dent. You're awake, Ikora says, relief breaking through her control. How long was I out? Superman asks. His voice is rough. His chest itches around the scar. 6 hours, Zavala answers. Long enough for the anchor ring to finish falling into the atmosphere. We shot the pieces down. The traveler is safe. The city stands. He pauses. You did it. Superman tries to sit up. Pain flares from the scar, not sharp, but deep, like an old wound that thinks it is new. Ikora presses a hand to his shoulder. Slow, she says. Your body's trying to remember how to hold the sun. He looks down. The S on his suit is torn. Beneath it, his skin is marked by a black star-shaped scar, faintly glowing at the edges. When he focuses on it, he feels the darkness there stir. It is part of him now. I took the hit, he says, for the city. You took one hit, Zavala replies. The others found different targets. The traveler was grazed, but it healed itself. The pyramid took damage and retreated. Your choice bought us time, but it also changed you. Ikora nods, eyes sad but curious. Your maximum solar charge has dropped by almost 30%, she says. You are weaker, in simple terms, but the darkness inside that scar can be redirected. We could, in theory, use it to anchor you in places where light normally fails, like the deep or the inner mind of the traveler. Superman snorts softly. You want to use the piece of evil stuck in me as a key. Ikora does not flinch. I want to use every tool we have to stop the witness, she says. But I will not lie. Keeping that scar is a risk. It could be turned against you, or against us. Zavala steps closer. The witness will not stop, he says. It now knows you can hurt its disciples. It knows you will throw yourself between its weapons and our people. It will sharpen something worse than Nephril and send it. We must change the board before that happens. How? Superman asks. Zavala exchanges a look with Ikora. She nods once. We go to the source, she says. We go to the Traveler, not just in prayer, not just in trust, in person, into its pale heart. Superman frowns. I saw something, he says slowly. When I was between, a field, a white sky. I talked to it, I think. Ikora leans in. Then it acknowledged you, she says. That is rare. It means you are already halfway chosen. Kadir tosses his helmet in the air and catches it. Let me guess, he says. We're going on a road trip inside the giant cracked god ball. What could go wrong? Zavala's mouth twitches. It might almost be a smile, but it does not reach his eyes. We will form an escort, he says. A small elite team. We will carry you to an entry point. The Traveler will do the rest if it wills. There, we will seek what you saw. Answer, guidance, maybe a weapon. But first, he looks at Superman. We must decide. Do you keep the scar, or do we try to cut it out? Ikora raises a hand. There is a way, she says. We can focus light through your cells, burn the darkness pocket, seal it. You would gain back some of your strength, but you would lose the ability to touch that border where light and dark meet. You would be less tuned to the Traveler's inner spaces. Cade shrugs. On the other hand, keeping the cursed heart tattoo means the witness has a handle on you, he says. I'm not usually a fan of giving my enemies free rope. Superman closes his eyes. He feels the scar like a cold ember. He thinks of Nephril's offer, of the Traveler's field, of the anchor exploding, of the bolt he could not stop that hurt the pyramid. Every piece of this war has a cost and a trade. If I burn it out, he says slowly, I get to feel whole again. I get simple power, but we lose a key that might let us end this faster. If I keep it, I stay wounded. I stay at risk, but I can go places you can't. I can stand in spaces where light breaks. Exactly, Ikora says. He opens his eyes. Then I keep it, he says. Ikora breathes out, both worried and proud. Zavala nods once. Kadir mutters, Of course he does, but there is respect in it. Then we do not waste it, Zavala says. We move before the witness can twist that scar more. We go to the Traveler. Up to now, Superman has been pulled by events. He fell into this world, answered alarms, punched enemies. Now, he chooses to carry a piece of darkness inside him and walk into the heart of a god for answers. The ship they give him is small but tough. It is a souped-up jump ship with heavier armor, Cabal plating bolted on by Elixni engineers, and a Vanguard transponder that screams, "Friend, do not shoot," in every known code. Its name, printed in bright letters along the side, is Dawnhold. Superman doesn't need a ship to reach the Traveler. He could fly there on his own, but he accepts the Dawnhold for 3 reasons: the medbay, the comms, and the people. Ikora comes. She is the mind of the fire team, the one who knows how to speak to the Traveler and what questions to ask. Saint 14, the Titan who once lived in the infinite forest and came back, joins a shield. His void helm, ringed like a halo, has fresh scratches. His shotgun rests across his lap like a holy relic. Cade 6 insists on coming. If we're walking into a god's brain, he says, You want someone who knows how to crack jokes at the wrong time. It keeps things from getting too heavy. Also, I have experience being dead. Might be useful. Mithrax, Kel of the House of Light, stands at the hangar door as they board, forearms folded. You carry strange hope, he tells Superman. You smell of suns and scars. Bring some of that light back for all of us, yes? Superman gives him a small nod. I'll try, he says. In the Dawnhold's tiny med bay, a warlock specialist checks his scar again. Darkness level remains stable, she reports. No spread. But if you feel sudden voices in your head or urges to punch holes in reality, tell someone. I already have voices in my head, he says. Mostly they tell me not to punch gods. She smiles despite herself. You'll fit right in, she says, and leaves. In the quiet room that serves as a crew bunk, Ikora sits cross-legged, eyes closed. Superman sits nearby, back against the wall, cape spread around him like a blanket. The hum of the ship wraps around them. Do you ever doubt your doctrine? He asks. Ikora opens her eyes. Every day, she said. That is why it is doctrine, not law. We choose it again and again. And you? I doubt myself, he says. Not the idea of saving people. That never changes. But how? When? I've made mistakes. I have hurt people trying to help. Ikora nods. We all have. The difference is, our mistakes erased cities. Yours have weight on a scale beyond our system. That is why I fear you and respect you in the same breath. He looks at his hands. They shake a little when he is not focusing. I am not a god, he repeats. I keep saying that, but everyone looks at me like one. On my world, on yours. How do you handle that? Ikora smiles, tired and kind. We point at the traveler, she says, and say, that is the god. We are just the ones who stand between it and the people. Maybe you should let something else be the god too. He glances upward, toward where the traveler hangs beyond the hull. We'll see what it has to say, he murmurs. In the cockpit, Saint 14 pilots with steady hands. His voice rumbles through the ship's speakers. We are approaching the entry point, he says. I can see it already. A wound in the traveler's skin, stitched with light. Superman joins him at the front. Through the view window, the traveler fills space. At this range, it is not smooth. It is a landscape of scars and plates, of strange, slowly shifting patterns. Above one crack, light spills in a thin, steady fountain toward the void. That is where Guardians entered during the final shape, Saint says. A doorway to the Pale Heart. It closed after we finished that war. Now it opens a little again. For you. Us, Superman corrects. Saint claps his shoulder. Us, he agrees. Before they reach the door, space bends. A figure appears in their path, standing on nothing, cloaked in grey. Its face is covered by a mirror mask that shows everyone their own reflection. It holds no weapon, and yet the darkness around it hums. Ikora curses under her breath. Mirror foe, she says. We expected something like this. On the view screen, the cloaked figure looks at Superman. The mirror mask flashes, and now it shows him someone else. Himself, but changed. The S on the chest is black. The eyes glow with a cold, pale light. The cape is ragged, edges dripping shadow. The ship's sensors register nothing. No mass, no heat. Only a bruise in reality. The cloaked figure speaks on all channels at once. I am the echo of Kal-El, it says. A version of you that accepted the witness's gift. I saved everyone by taking everything from them. I ended war with terror. I ended hunger with harsh order. My world is quiet and safe. No child fears. No one cries over choices. You can be me. Cade mutters, I hate this guy already. Superman feels his stomach twist. The Echo's words touch every fear he has, every time he has wished he could just fix things once and for all. "You ruled them," he says softly. "Did they love you?" "They did not need to," the Echo says. "They obeyed. That was enough. Their blood stopped flowing in streets. That is all you ever wanted. Admit it." Saint 14 rises, shotgun ready. "We will not let this thing board," he says. Ikora shakes her head. "Guns won't touch it," she says. "It is a construct of light and dark, shaped by the witness from his fear. Only he can answer it." Superman steps to the airlock. "Open it," he says. Saint hesitates. "This is foolish," he warns. "Maybe," Superman says. "But if I don't face this now, I'll face it later when more lives are at stake." They cycle the lock. He steps out into open space, floating across from his own dark reflection. The Dawnhold holds position behind him, its engines a soft glow. The Traveler looms, waiting. The Echo of Kal-El tilts its head. "Look at them," it says, nodding toward the ship. "Mortal soldiers. Fragile. They die by the thousands. You mourn. You keep your foolish rule and watch cemeteries fill. Why not take control? Why not become the law?" Superman studies it. "What did you sacrifice to become this?" he asks. "The same things you cling to," the Echo answers. "Friends, lovers, names. I could not afford them. I burned them out of myself. Now I am pure function, pure justice." "Justice without love isn't justice," Superman says. "It's just force." The Echo laughs, a bitter, empty sound. "Love is why you hesitate," it says. "It is why Nephril hurt you. It is why the witness will cut you apart. If you loved less, you could save more." "That's not saving," he says. The Echo's eyes flash. "Then learn," it says. It moves. The clash is fast and brutal. This foe moves exactly as he does. It knows his tricks, his angles, his timing. Every punch he throws, it has already thrown once in some other life. Their blows meet and cancel. Their heat vision streams cross and shatter in showers of sparks. The darkness scar in his chest burns. The Echo's chest has the same mark, but its glow is steady, not jagged. It has made peace with its wound. It uses it. "See," the Echo says, as it drives a fist into his ribs. "Pain made me stronger because I surrendered to it. You cling to the idea of being a man. Let it go. Become what they already think you are." He coughs, trying to pull in more sunlight, but the Traveler's field around this door is strange. It bends rays away. The only power he can draw on quickly is the mix inside him. A shard of darkness, a thread of light. He hates that. He uses it anyway. He lets the darkness in his scar rise. It hurts. It feels like letting anger take the wheel. The Echo grins, feeling the surge. "Yes," it says. "There it is. Admit it. You enjoy this part." He does not answer. He channels the scar into his fists, wrapping each punch in a thin layer of null energy. It makes them heavy, ugly. When they land, the Echo's aura cracks, but each use leaves a stain. A small slice of his conscience trembles. Back on the ship, Ikora watches energy graphs spike. "He's using the scar," she says. "If he leans too far into it, the witness could reach through." Saint 14 makes the sign of the Traveler over his chest. "It will not have him," he says. "He is not built for surrender." The fight tilts. Superman takes the lead, driving his Echo back toward the Traveler's door. Each clash sends ripples into the light fountain spilling from the crack. The Traveler's glow begins to stutter. The Echo sneers. "Look at you," it says. "Using darkness you swore to reject. You are already me. You just refuse to say it." He stops mid-punch. That small pause is everything. The Echo steps in, fist cocked, ready to drive the scar deeper, to push him over the edge. The traveler intervenes. Light flares from the crack, blinding. The echo freezes, caught in a web of radiance. The darkness in Superman's scar shrinks under the blaze, forced small. The voice that spoke to him before brushes his mind again. You may use the wound, it says. You may not become it. A simple command, a simple limit. He nods, breathless. Understood, he whispers. The light around the echo tightens. Its form starts to tear apart, threads of shadow and mimic light unraveling. This is not over, it hisses. You will face this choice again. Next time, there will be more bodies on the floor. I know, he says. That's why I have to get better now. The echo breaks apart and vanishes into the void. The crack in the traveler widens, just enough for a man and his scar to pass. Saint 14's voice comes through the comm. The path is open, he says. Kal-El, we have orders from the speaker's line and from higher. Reach the throne. We will hold the door. Superman looks back at the Dawnhold. He sees Ikora's steady gaze, Cade's half wave, Saint's bowed helm. He sees in them not worship, not blind faith, but trust mixed with worry. Hold this line, he says. Whatever happens, don't come after me until the traveler itself sends you. Ikora's voice answers, soft but iron. We will wait, she says. Now go find the thing all our ghosts whisper about. He turns and flies into the light. The world flips. Inside the traveler, the pale heart stretches out. A landscape that looks like Earth but softer at the edges, as if drawn from memory. The sky is a calm white blue. Fields of pale grass roll into forests made of light and glass. In the distance, the last city stands whole and new, without scars. Above it all, a great throne rises, not a chair, but a hill of stone and shining trees, where the traveler's presence is strongest. He lands on a path of glowing sand that leads toward that hill. As his boots touch it, he feels rules settle over him. His strength flickers. His flight becomes a short glide, not endless. His senses narrow. He is closer to human here than anywhere else. Codex note. Within the traveler's pale heart, paracausal beings are subject to tightly controlled physics. Powers are cut, reshaped and rationed according to the traveler's will. The path to the throne is not empty. As Superman walks, scenes rise from the pale grass like soft glass. On his left, he sees Metropolis on a bright day. A bus dangles from a bridge. He lifts it, smiling easy. On his right, he sees the last city under Cabal fire. He is late by seconds. A shell hits a building. He hears the screams again. He keeps walking. The next scene shows Nephril driving the staff into his chest. He feels the spike. He tastes the scream. He wants to look away, but his feet keep moving. On the other side, kids in the last city rooftops cheer and point as he flies past. He saved them because he took that wound. Both truths hang side by side. He reaches the base of the hill. The throne is simple. A rise of stone with a tree of white light at the top. The tree's branches hold shapes like ghosts, like planets, like cities. The traveler's presence is strongest here. It is not a person. It is not a face. It is a weight and a warmth. He climbs. Each step feels heavier. By the time he reaches the top, he is almost normal. His muscles ache. His heart pounds. His scar throbs like a second heartbeat. He stands under the light tree and waits. The traveler speaks, not with one voice, with many. He hears the speaker, long dead. He hears Zavala, Ikora, Cade, Saint. He hears Lois. He hears his mother. All the voices blend into one clear tone, Kal-El. The light around him shifts. It shapes into 3 doors in the air, each made of pale radiance and faint shadow. Around each door, images spin, futures. "These are the paths?" he asks. His voice sounds small up here. "Yes," the traveller says. "You do not belong to this pattern. Your breach strained the weave. You must choose how you will sit in it." The first door flares. He sees his own universe, his sun, his city, daily planet building bright in the light. Lois on a balcony, waiting. The Justice League gathered in a hall that is now quiet. He feels a pull so strong his knees shake. "This is the return," the voices say. "You go back through a wound like the one you entered. The cost, the breach widens. Both universes crack a little at the edge. Memory will blur. Your time here will fade. Some details may change. A villain saved here might be a monster there. A friend saved there might die here. The witness will still move. The last city will face it without you." In the scene, he sees the last city under the anchor ring. No red cape in the sky. Guardians fight. Some fall and do not rise. The traveller strains alone. It survives, but only barely. Some outer worlds fall. He clenches his jaw. The door dims. The second door glows. He sees the last city, but different. Banners with his symbol hang from tower walls. Guardians look to him, not to the vanguard when they make choices. He flies alone to war zones, ignoring orders. He stops Cabal and Hive and fallen battles by sheer presence. Empress Kayatl bristles, Mithrak struggles, factions split. Some worship him, some fear him. "This is the free agent," the voices say. "You stay. You answer only to your own rule. You move where you think you must. The cost. The Vanguard's authority cracks. Alliances strain. Civil wars threaten." The witness smiles as you pull the pattern apart yourself. You save many in the short term. You risk all in the long term. In that scene, he sees himself stopping a Cabal coup with one shout. He also sees Elixni refugees turned away because human fear of him has grown into fear of all outsiders. He sees the Drifter running new shady deals in the cracks. The system wobbles. The second door dims. The third door brightens. He sees the tower war room. Zavala, Ikora, Cade, Saint, Drifter, Kayatl, Mithrax, and himself, standing at the table, not above them. His symbol on his chest is different. The S wrapped in a circle of white, like a tiny traveller. Report screens show him in battles, always with Guardian fire teams, never alone. Documents scroll past, rules, limits, oaths. "This is the sanctioned servant," the voices say. You bind yourself to this system's law. You accept command and constraint. You become a sword and a shield the vanguard can point. You keep your core rule, but you accept that some fights you want, you will not be allowed to take. The cost, you lose freedom. You lose some of your reach. The gain, the pattern holds. Your light strengthens the whole. In that scene, he sees himself wanting to fly off to a distant colony under attack, but holding position because his presence is needed at the city. Another fire team goes instead. Some die. The colony stands. The city stands. The witness is slowed. He stands in the pale wind and shakes. "My world needs me," he says. "They're my people, my home. I made them a promise." The first door flickers. He sees Lois again. Clark at a kitchen table. A news report about a crisis only he can stop. "These people need you too," the voices say. The last city burns in one future, holds in another. Ghosts dim or flare. The traveller is caged or free. You were not called, but you came. Now you are part of this story. If you tear yourself free, both tapestries fray. He closes his eyes. He thinks of the breach above his old sun, the way it shook as he entered. Ikora's words about equations, Zavala's hard choices, Kayatl's talk of scales, his own rule. No one dies if I can stop it, he whispers. I can't stop everyone from dying, but I can choose where I stand when the worst storms hit. He opens his eyes. The free agent path, he says, looking at the second door, is pride. I decide who to listen to. I decide what war matters. That's how men become tyrants, even when they start as heroes. The voices say nothing. They let him walk through his own logic. The return, he says, staring at the first door, is selfish and safe. I get my life back. I maybe keep one world from cracking, but I leave this one after making it more dangerous by changing the witness's plans. He looks at the third door. The servant path is hard, he says. I give up a lot. I let people order me. I accept that sometimes my hands will itch to move and I'll have to stand still, but it saves the most lives here. And if I'm smart, I can still help my own world from here in ways that don't rip holes in reality. He faces the light tree. I'll be sanctioned, he says. I will stay as your agent, under rules we agree on. I will not be your weapon if those rules break my line, but I'll let myself be placed on the board instead of knocking it over. The 3 doors shimmer. The first fades, though a faint line remains, a memory of a path he could have taken. The second shatters, pieces of light falling and dissolving. The third steps forward, its frame passing through him in a warm rush. The traveller responds. Light flares from the tree. It pours into his scar, across his chest, down his arms. It does not burn the darkness out. It coats it, shapes it, puts it in a cage. The black star on his chest becomes edged in white. The S lights up, lines of traveller glyphs threading through it, then settling into a simple ring of pale glow around the shield. He gasps. His powers settle into new patterns. He feels his solar charge cap, lower than before Nephril, but steadier now. He feels the darkness in his scar, still there but bound. Each time he reaches for it, he will feel the traveller's hand on his wrist, asking why. A purge and a healing at once. The voices speak again, more precise. Mandate. You are Kal-El of Saul, bound son. You are sworn to the defense of the last city, its people, and its allied species. You act under vanguard command on matters of war. You act under consensus with allies on matters of peace. They show him rules in clear ideas. You may not leave this system without our direct will, sent through the throne. You may not use the darkness in your scar more than 3 times in one battle without severe cost. Each use beyond that will strip more of your solar core. You may not kill surrendered foes, even if ordered. We will not ask it. You may intervene in political disputes only when lives are at immediate risk. You will not be a king. He nods. I can accept that, he says. In return, the voices say, when you stand where light fails, we will stand with you. When the witness reaches for your wound, we will pull back. You are not our ghost. You are not our guardian. You are something else. But you are ours now, as we are partly yours. For a moment, he feels both suns at once, the yellow star of his home and the strange light of the traveller. They do not blend. They sit side by side in his chest, like 2 hands on the same rope. The throne hill fades. The pale heart softens. Time to go, the traveller says, with something almost like gentle amusement. Your friends are waiting at the door, and your enemies are already making new plans. He steps back through the crack and into the ship. The Dawnhold systems jolt as the traveller seals the opening to a thin silver scar. Superman stands in the airlock, aura dim but stable, symbol glowing faintly with its new ring. His boots touch the deck. Gravity feels real again. St. 14 is there first. He looks at the changed emblem and makes a low, reverent sound. "You went before the light and did not burn," he says. "This is good." Ikora scans him with her ghost. "Solar output is steady," she says. "Darkness vector caged, but still present. And your pattern is now tagged by the traveler. You are anchored here. If you tried to fly back through a random breach, your atoms would scatter. So I'm really not going home," he says. There is pain in the words, but no surprise. Cade pats his arm. "Hey," he says. "Welcome to the club of people who died and came back wrong. You get used to it. Kinda." They bring the Dawnhold back to the tower. As the ship descends, they see changes already. The anchor ring is gone. The pyramid has withdrawn to a distant orbit. The last city is still bandaged, but repairs have begun. Distant pylons rise where new defenses are being built, combining Guardian tech, Elixni weaves, and Cabal plating. The landing pad is crowded. Zavala waits with Mithrax and Empress Kayatl. Drifter lounges at the back, coat flapping, eyes sharp. Crow, the once Aldrin, stands beside him with his hood down. A dozen ghosts hover like shining fireflies, and in the shadows, kids from the city have climbed up onto containers to watch. Superman steps out. The crowd falls quiet. Zavala looks at the new symbol. "So," he says, "what did the traveler say?" "It gave me a job," Superman answers. "And a leash." Drifter chuckles. "Yeah, that tracks," he says. "Big white ball in the sky loves its deals. Give me the short version, Chief. What's your gig now?" Superman takes a breath. His chest hurts less now. His voice carries clearly. "I'm staying," he says. "I'm not your god. I'm not your king. I'm a bound son under Vanguard command. I fight where they point, as long as it doesn't break my rule. I don't touch your politics unless people are about to die. I don't leave this system without the travelers say so. And I only use the darkness in me when there is no other way." There is a murmur through the crowd. Relief, worry, awe. Kayatl steps forward, heavy armor clanking. "You take orders now, Sunman?" she asks. "I always did," he says. "From my parents, from my conscience. Now from a few more people, about where to stand in a fight." She studies him for a long moment, then nods. "Good," she says. "I can respect a warrior who chooses chains that protect others. We will speak of joint campaign soon. Your presence at the head of my phalanxes would break many enemies." Mithrax bows in Elixni fashion. "And we will speak of softer things," he said. "Of children who sleep easier knowing a bound sun watches the walls. Of Houselight's place under your cape's shadow." Zavala lifts his chin. "We will formalize this," he says. "A charter, a set of protocols. The Vanguard will not abuse your oath. We will not send you where we would not go ourselves. You will sit in war councils, not stand outside them." Superman nods. "That's part of the deal," he says. "I don't follow blindly. I need to know why we fight, not just who." Ikora's eyes soften with respect. "Good," she says. "We have enough blunt instruments. We need guides." Up on the containers, a child in a ragged jacket raises a homemade drawing. A stick figure in a cape standing in front of a big circle, arms outstretched. An S and a little dot traveler above it. Other kids cheer. One yells, "Bound Sun." The name catches. It whispers through the crowd. Saint 14 laughs loud and proud. "See," he says, "they already write your legend." Superman looks up at the kids. He smiles, small but real, and raises a hand. "Stay in school," he calls. "Let me do the flying." Laughter breaks some of the tension. For a brief moment, the tower feels almost like a normal city square. Time passes, fast and thin in story, but heavy in the world. The witness does not strike at once. It retreats to shape new plans. In its place, lesser foes probe the system, testing the bound sun's new limits. A hive war moon drifts too close to the reef. Superman flies with Saint 14 and a fire team of titans to shatter its spine. He does not lead. He follows the plan. When the darkness scar tempts him to end the battle with one ugly burst, he remembers the traveler's grip and holds back. On a distant colony, fallen pirates take human hostages. A younger Superman would have rushed in alone. This one calls for a hunter fire team, lets Cade's students set the traps. He is the hammer that falls when they spring them. More pirates end up in cells instead of graves. The hostages go home. Each mission shapes his legend. Some Guardians grumble. They do not like the idea of a sanctioned paracausal outside the Ghost Bond. They worry about what happens when Vanguard orders clash with his rule. Others are glad. They have seen him take hits meant for them. They trust that he bleeds with them, not above them. Factions outside the city react too. In her war room, Empress Kayatl pins a symbol of the bound sun on her star maps. "We aim him where it hurts the witness most," she tells her advisors. "We do not rely on him to solve our own discipline. A borrowed weapon is useful. It is also a reminder we must sharpen our own." Mithrax walks the city at night, cloak hood up, listening to Human and Elixni talk. He hears kids pretending to be Guardians, or Bound Sun, or both. "You be Superman, I'll be a Titan," a boy says. "No, I want to be the Ghost," a girl replies. He smiles. Symbols mixing is a good sign. Drifter deals in the shadows. He watches the new emblem appear on black market trinkets. "That boy's going to change the economy," he mutters. "Hero brand merch from another universe. Gonna have to cut in somehow." But when no one is looking, he tosses one of those cheap S and circle pins to a scared kid in the alley. "Keep that," he says. "Might remind you to stand tall." Far away, in a place where light is thin and darkness thick, the Witness watches. It replays the Anchor battle in exact detail. It watches Superman choose the city over himself. It watches him string light and dark through his wound. It watches him reject the echo. A flaw, it thinks, in its own vast way. An unexpected variable, but even flaws can be carved into tools. It shapes a new disciple, slower this time, more tuned to moral pressure than energy counters. It studies the leash the traveler placed on the bound sun and considers how to yank it. The game goes on. One night in the last city, the air is cool and quiet. On a rooftop near the inner wall, a small family has spread a blanket. The father points up. The mother laughs. The child, the same one Superman pulled from rubble on his first day, sits with a scarf around their neck and a wide smile. "Do you think we'll see him?" the child asks. "If he's not busy," the mother says. "He has a lot of work." "He always comes when it gets really bad," the father adds. "Maybe tonight will be quiet and boring. That would be nice too." The child nods, then squints at the sky. There! A red streak crosses in front of the traveler, small but bright. It slows as it reaches the city, circling once before dropping lower. Searchlights from the tower track it. On the wall, Titans snap to attention, armor gleaming. Hunters on the rooftops raise hands in lazy salutes. Warlocks watch with measuring eyes. The streak resolves into a man in blue and red, symbol on his chest ringed in white. He slows more, almost drifting, just a figure in the sky looking down at the place he now guards. The child waves, both arms, even though they know he cannot see them from here. "Bound Sun," they shout. "Thank you." He cannot hear the words, but he feels the emotion brush his thoughts, soft and warm, like a ghost's whisper. He smiles, just for himself, and tips 2 fingers to his brow in a habit from another life. Then he turns and streaks toward a distant horizon, where a new alert pings in his ear. Something about a taken incursion, or a flare in the deep. He will listen to the vanguard. He will argue with them if he must. He will stand where he is placed. He will keep his rule. No one dies if he can stop it. And now, in this strange system of light and dark, he is not alone in trying. Codex note: by joint decree of the Traveller's Throne and the Vanguard, Kal-El of Saul is recognized as the bound sun, an anchored, sanctioned paracausal protector whose actions are limited by charter, but whose symbol now shares legal and mythic weight with the ghost and the light.